Most men talk too much. They fill every empty space with noise, desperately seeking validation, broadcasting insecurity. They mistake chatter for charisma, rambling for authority. They're broadcasting weakness, and the world is responding accordingly. This isn't about introversion, it's about power. It's about understanding that silence, true silence, isn't empty. It's loaded. It's a weapon, and you need to learn to wield it. For too long, men have been conditioned to believe their value is tied to their ability to entertain, to placate, to constantly offer something. Offer opinions, offer help, offer attention. It's exhausting. And it's fundamentally flawed, because in a world saturated with noise, the one thing that cuts through is nothing. Absolute, unyielding stillness. This isn't about being difficult. It's about controlling the narrative. It's about dictating the terms of engagement. It's about reclaiming your power from a culture designed to dilute it. Think of a coiled snake. It doesn't constantly strike. The threat lies in the potential for the strike, the coiled power held in reserve. Constant motion is exhausting. Stillness is terrifying. People react to predictability. Silence throws them off balance. They crave a response, an explanation, something to categorize and control. And when you deny them that, you immediately establish dominance. This isn't manipulation. It's recognizing the psychological landscape. We live in an age of oversharing, of manufactured authenticity. Genuine composure is rare. People have forgotten what it looks like to encounter someone who isn't desperate for their approval. And that scarcity creates a certain disquiet. So how do you build this weapon? It's not a matter of simply not talking. It's a deeper recalibration of your internal state. It's about building the resolve that allows for that silence. And that begins with mastering yourself. First, understand your motivations. Why do you feel the need to fill the silence? Are you seeking approval? Avoiding discomfort? Fearing judgment? This is crucial. Because if you're using silence to be passive-aggressive or avoid responsibility, it's not a weapon. It's cowardice. The silence in question needs to be born from inner strength, from a place of unwavering self-assuredness. This takes work. It means confronting your insecurities. It means staring down the void within yourself and realizing you don't need external validation to be a man of worth. And that begins with the step 1, radical self-acceptance. Stop apologizing for who you are. Stop trying to be someone you're not. Accept your flaws, your strengths, your ambitions, everything. Because until you're comfortable in your own skin, silence will feel like vulnerability, not power. It will be interpreted as hesitation, not control. Let's be brutally honest, most men haven't done this. They're perpetually chasing external validation, bending to the whims of others. They're puppets dancing on strings they don't even realize exist. They mistake politeness for strength, compromise for virtue. And that leads us to the second, and arguably more challenging component. Learning to endure discomfort. Silence creates space. And space is often uncomfortable. You'll feel the urge to speak, to explain, to justify. Resist. Embrace the discomfort. Let it wash over you. Because that discomfort is a test. It reveals how much you truly believe in yourself and your values. Practice this in low-stakes situations first. A casual conversation with a coworker. A sales pitch where you intentionally pause for dramatic effect. A disagreement where you refrain from immediately launching into a defense. Just observe the reaction. Notice how people lean in, how they shift their weight, how they desperately try to fill the void. This isn't about being rude, it's about observing human dynamics. It's about understanding how your silence impacts the power dynamic. Think of it like a chess game. You don't need to make a move on every turn. Sometimes the most powerful move is to wait, to observe your opponent, to assess their weaknesses, to allow them to make a mistake. Silence gives you that time. It forces others to reveal themselves. But here's a critical distinction. This isn't about being a stone-faced robot. Emotional intelligence is still vital. Silence isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about controlling its expression. It's about choosing when and how to reveal your hand. Learn to read the room. Learn to recognize when silence is amplifying your authority and when it's making you appear aloof or disengaged. This is where Step 3, thoughtful observation, comes into play. Become a student of human behavior. Pay attention to body language, vocal cues, the subtle shifts in energy that reveal a person's true intentions. A silent observer gains information. A rambling speaker gives it away. And information is power. Consider this. A lawyer doesn't win a case by shouting the loudest. They win by carefully constructing their argument, strategically presenting evidence, and knowing when to let the silence speak for itself. A seasoned negotiator doesn't immediately offer concessions. They listen, observe, and use silence to create leverage. A master tactician doesn't telegraph their moves. They remain calm, collected, and let their actions speak louder than words. Now, let's talk about specific scenarios. Dealing with aggression, confronting disrespect, managing conflict. In these situations, your instinct might be to retaliate, to defend, to explain. But often, the most effective response is nothing. A direct, unwavering gaze, a slight nod, a complete refusal to engage with the emotional outburst. This doesn't mean you're condoning the behavior. It means you're refusing to give it the energy it craves. It means you're demonstrating that you're not easily rattled. And trust me, that will disarm them far more effectively than any angry retort. I'll lay out a step 4, unwavering composure. Develop an internal anchor, something you can return to in moments of stress or conflict. This could be a breathing exercise, a mental visualization, or a simple affirmation of your values. The point is to create a state of inner calm that allows you to remain grounded, even when the world around you is spinning out of control. But be warned, this will be tested. People will try to provoke you. They'll push your buttons. They'll accuse you of being arrogant, aloof, or uncaring. Don't fall for it. Remember your purpose. Remember the power you're cultivating. And finally, but step 5, purposeful communication. This isn't about total abstention from speech. It's about making every word count. When you do speak, do so with clarity, precision, and unwavering conviction. Don't waste your breath on meaningless chatter or empty platitudes. Speak only when you have something valuable to say and deliver it with authority. This isn't about learning a trick. It's about fundamentally changing your relationship with communication. It's about recognizing that silence isn't a void to be filled, but a tool to be wielded. It's about building the inner strength to resist the constant pressure to conform, to placate, to apologize for simply existing. This is about becoming a man who commands respect, not by demanding it, but by embodying it. A man who doesn't need to shout to be heard. A man who understands that true power lies not in the abundance of words, but in the weight of silence. There's a world of difference between silence born of fear and silence born of resolve. The former will be perceived as weakness. The latter will be feared. So stop talking. Start listening. Start observing. Start building the internal strength that allows you to weaponize silence. The world doesn't need another voice adding to the noise. It needs a man who knows when to simply be. Now, this isn't something you can master overnight. It requires consistent practice, self-awareness, and a willingness to embrace discomfort. But I guarantee this, the rewards are immeasurable. If you're ready to start building this power, start small. Choose one conversation today where you consciously resist the urge to fill the silence. Just observe. Just be. And if you're serious about forging a stronger, more resolute version of yourself, consider what else you're neglecting. Are you prioritizing physical fitness, intellectual growth, strategic planning? Because true power comes from holistic development. By the way, if you found this valuable, show some respect by hitting that like button and subscribing for more direct, no-nonsense guidance. It means more than you think. Now go and practice. Your silence is waiting to be weaponized.